beautiful. If you've come here to elevate the collective consciousness around unconditional love, then it's very possible that you are a twin flame or have had a twin flame awakening or are going through your twin flame awakening. Previously, I told a story about the tale of the fallen twins, where the divine feminine, a radiant force of life and creation, how the divine feminine was cast into a great abyss, swallowed by darkness, and how the divine masculine battles and fights to rescue and save her and is swallowed by his own darkness. At the end of the tale, and you can go back and check for that in my posts, the divine masculine is lulled into a deep rest. And I said that this is not where the story ends. The deep rest of the divine masculine has been the theme of our patriarchal era. The one before the divine feminine, the age of Aquarius. Where we perceive the masculine to be powerful and most dominant. That was a phantom of the masculine. The true divine masculine has been in a deep rest, a deep sleep. So this is the next bit of the story. The fragmented child is the next part of the journey in your spiritual awakening, in your twin flame awakening. As the masculine rested, the feminine confronted a deeper truth. Within her, by a fragment of a forgotten self, a wounded child who has spun a fantastical tale to survive. Sound familiar? This child, unloved and unseen, used her vivid imagination and societal programming to conjure a fairy tale prince who would one day rescue her. In this daydream, she would finally be loved and whole. Many of the fairy tales of our time possess this theme. But fairy tales are not for children, they're for the adult within every child. And when we look back on them, when we watch these fairy tales again, we're able to see them through new eyes. The fairy tales where the princess is often being rescued by a prince is a story about a divine feminine, a feminine re-individuating with her divine masculine, and as a result, coming into union within herself. That plays out in the 3D world as we see those shifts amongst the feminine and the masculine and how they elevate in consciousness. But the work has to be done in relationship with self. So, in this dream, she would finally be loved and whole. And we've all been searching for our fairy tale, haven't we? The answer to soothe all of our wounds. Only to realize that something's amiss there. But this fragment, though clever and optimistic, was corrupted, shaped by cycles of covert abuse and betrayal. She had become addicted to pain disguised as love, trapped in a cycle of attracting narcissists and abusers who mirrored her inner wounds and her relationship with herself. The fragment fed on rejection, thriving in the shadows of a psyche even as the feminine tried to heal her. This fragment, born of trauma, had become a parasite tethered to the collective shadow of humanity's wounded daughters. With a heavy heart, the feminine realized she could not save this part of herself. The child was a program, a piece of distortion, designed to perpetuate pain. And though it was a piece of her, it was not all of her. With love and sorrow, she released the fragment, knowing it would dissolve into the collective shadow where it belonged. This fragment can be identified as woundology, our attachment to our wound, the archetype of the eternal victim, and so on and so on. Often when I have clients reach out to me for guidance on their twin flame journey, desperately wanting to figure out how they can come into union with their divine masculine, the journey takes them inwards into the dense, dark forest where they have to meet with their inner healer, often represented as the witch or the medicine woman in the woods. You can only find her within. And through our process together, they come to realize that the work is all about them and the relationship with themselves and all the archetypes that are active within them and all the fragments that they've separated from, the parts of their soul that they've got to call back. The journey has nothing to do with making someone love you or see your worth. In fact, your divine counterpart is there to mirror to you that it is all about you, about your shadows and about your beauty that you have to integrate and come to terms with. This fragment can be misunderstood to be the inner child, but it is rather like the inner child's imaginary friend, because the inner child does not yet feel safe in your world with you. And once you get rid of the fragment, your inner child can step out, rise up, and project his or her voice. This leads us to the next part of the story, the archetype of the covert feminine, which we will cover in the next episode. Are you a twin flame? Do you suspect that you are? Where are you on your journey in your process? And how has this story served you today?